Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video we are going to create our show page and the show route for our YelpClone application. If you remember from the last video, we talked about the big 7 routes in RESTful routing being index, new, create, show, edit, update, and delete. Show is one of those. We've already created the index, the new, and create, and we can see those if we look in our week 10 in our app.js. Here's our landing page. That one didn't count, but we've got the index route right there, /comics, and yours again will be / whatever your item is. Post to /comics is our create route, and the new route is right here, /comics/new. So we've got those three. Now we're going to create the show page. But before we actually get down to the nuts and bolts of creating it, let's talk about what is a show page. I have pulled up Steam, the store.steampower.com. It's where you can buy a lot of video games, and they have tons of different games that you can purchase of all kinds of weird and wonderful varieties. So we've got this is their index page. Now their routing is different because they're a store and that's their only thing they're doing, but this is their index page that shows all their stuff. So if I click on one of these, let's go to Star Trek Online. You'll see up here in the URL we have /app, /number, /name of the game. So their actual routing is a little bit different than ours because ours is just going to be /comics/ID. So theirs, instead of /game/ID, they did app, but that's fine. And then they added on the name of it here at the end. I'm not sure why they did that, but it's just a choice they made. But this is the ID of that game. If you look at a different game, you can see here that Star Trek is 9900. But if I come down to Paper Beast, whatever this is, it's a different number. It's a much larger number. If I come down to Star Wars The Old Republic, it's a different number. So you've got all these different numbers, but they are all, let me pause this. This is the ID of that item. I can almost guarantee you that in their database somewhere, that's the ID of that game, that particular game. So this is the show page, and you'll notice that on each of these show pages, it looks pretty much the same. You've got this little movie window right here that has little preview movies, and it has pictures that you can click on. Over here on the side, you have the image, and then you have a short description. You've got the reviews, the release date, all that stuff. If you scroll down on the left side, you'll see that you've got the buttons to purchase the game or play the game, since this one's free. On the right, you've got more additional information about the game, such as the rating and the publisher and all that kind of stuff, and about this game and so on and so forth. If I go to a different one, let's go to, I don't know, this one, Deliver Us to the Moon. You got the same. You've got the same information. You've got the same window. You've got the same picture here, the same description. Pause that. Recent reviews, release date, all that stuff. You have click here to buy it. Over on the right, you have the it looks the same. It's got different data, but it looks the same. This is what we're going to be building as a show page. We're going to build a page. It's basically a template that will we can populate with data, because that's all they're doing. They built this template and then they populate it with the data. The videos are stored in their database. This picture stored, this description stored, all this different stuff is stored in their database, and they just serve the same template, populating it with all this data. And this is the show page. It shows more information about this particular item, this particular game. Now, we're not doing games, we're doing comics. So we are going to create the show page and the show route. So the show route is already defined for us by RESTful routing conventions. So it's a GET request, app.get, and then it is to /comics/ID. It's the :ID, because that is going to create a variable for us that we can access. Then request response, as always. And response, and right now we're just going to .send show page for comic with ID of, and we're going to add request.params.id. Because remember, you can access all of the URL parameters on the params object that's given to us by Express. So request.params.id. So let's save this, and let's start our server, and then get our web app opened. Let's go ahead and enter. And now if we go to comics/anything other than new, it'll give us this page. Show page with a comic ID of this that I just typed in. However, if I do new, it'll give us the new one. Remember, the reason for that is because what Express does is it checks each one in order. So we have our new above our ID. That's very important. You have to have the new first, because if you switch these, you'll never ever hit the new route. So put that there. And if now I go to new and refresh, well, there we go. with the comic ID of new, because it's hitting this one right here and saying, oh, it matches, so stop looking. We don't want that. We want the new route to be unique, and then if it's not new, then hit the ID.